I'm super excited to be here tonight to moderate. We have got a panel that is just delightful and insightful. We're going to have a lot of questions asked. Thank you for everyone who brought your questions up front before we got started. And if anyone has questions, Melissa will be collecting. If more questions come up for you, you can write them down on a piece of paper and give them to her as we're doing the seminar. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to have each one of our panelists introduce themselves and tell you a little bit about why they're here. And if you want to go ahead and start. Donna, do you want to start?
Okay. Let's make sure it's turned on. Oh, there you go. Not my thing. Hi, my name is Donna DeStefano. I run a talent management company, Siren Song Entertainment. It is consists of me and only me, so I run the whole thing. It's a boutique firm. I have about less than 20 clients, and they work in theater, film, and television. And I was just thrilled when I was called to be here tonight, because I just never stop talking. No, but I love talking to actors, and I really, when I can do this, I love to do it, because there is so much information out there, and I think there's a lot of confusing information out there. So I'll tell you anything I know, and we'll have fun.
I agree. Donna?
Hi. Nope, as you tell, non-actor.
Oh, yay, hi.
Hi. An actor helped me. Hi, I'm Donna McKenna. Thanks, everybody, for coming tonight. I'm an independent film casting director. I'm my own person, and I also produce a lot of the movies I cast, which is great for you actors, because that means if I want you in the movie, I'm going to fight tooth and nail for you, right? I love doing that. But yes, I love talking to actors. I love actors. All my friends are actors. I know exactly what you guys go through. I've got friends that are starting out actors to Hollywood A-list actors, and believe me, I know what you all go through. So I'm here to talk about anything you want to talk about. And thanks for coming out.
Excellent. Thank you. Deborah?
Hi, I'm Deborah Twiss, and I'm a director, and I'm also an actress, writer, and producer, basically the whole indie gamut, because that's what you have to do these days. And I'm really excited to be here. Donna McKenna, who's my producing partner and casting director, was the one who told SAG that they should bring me in. Thank you, Donna. Thank you, SAG. And I'm just really excited to share some of the great ideas that I've kind of uncovered in this amazing adventure. So thanks a lot.
Excellent. Thank you. Well, we're all just thrilled to have you here. And I think this is a really special combination, too, because what you were saying, Donna, is you're on your own. You're doing it. You're doing the whole thing yourself. So are you, Donna.
Yes.
And Deborah, you as well. And you're working together and creating something amazing. And so often as an actor, we're faced with having every job to do about being an actor. We're faced with how do we market ourselves? How do we get in front of the right people? How do we meet those people? So we have our own complete company within us. So this is very familiar territory to these ladies, and that's how you're making your living. So I know that we'll be able to get a lot of great information. The name of this title is How to Pitch Yourself. And I think that, first of all, let's just talk a little bit about what does that mean? What does pitching yourself mean, and when does that happen? Because we hear a lot about branding, we hear about marketing and networking, but what is pitching? So if you could just give your take on it and how you have seen people do it successfully to start out with, that would be very helpful. Do you want to start, Donna?
I'm ready to go. Okay. I think what we were just talking about earlier. It's sales, which none of us want to think of it in that way, but it is. It's sales. But I always think that the people that are most successful with me, or I feel like their work in a room, whether it's a party or an event or whatnot, or it's like a humility and a humble approach to talking about yourself in the business. And it's not really pitchy, because I feel like if it is pitchy, there's a standoff thing, because it is the arts, and you're talking about yourself as an artist, as an actor. So I feel that if you could make it fun, and you could make it pure and truthful to yourself, and not feel like you have to say something to get somebody's attention kind of a thing, like what's pure and real to you, just like in your acting choices. I think those are the things that really win with people. And for me, I'm a talent manager. If I'm going to take on a client, I need to be able to sell that person in their totality. I'm not just going to represent them in voiceover or one specific area. I'm going to represent them in all and who and what they are. So your personality is really a big part of your presentation, of your pitch. And so I think being relaxed with it and really personal and upbeat with a little bit of humility, I think is the right way to go. And I think when someone's nervous and they're talking to you, the room feels nervous. But if you're having a good time, everybody wants to be where you are. So that's what I would think would be a good thing to do.
Oh, that's delightful. I guess that's the difference too between, we were talking earlier about the selling a car, and the feeling you get with a car salesman, I've got to get this car off the lot, you've got to hire me, I need this job, I need you to take a look at me. Or the person who loves their cars, knows that you're there to get a car, and that you will probably walk off the lot with one, and hopefully, as in the actor's world, that they'd want to work with you. Or that you would want to work with them. Yeah. Donna, do you have a take on
said
that?
Everything I was going to say. This is going to be one of those things. But no, pitching yourself. To me, it's less is more too. Just being real. We can tell actors. I know who's an actor and who's not, and just being humble and not trying to be pushy, or work so hard, to sell yourself. A lot of times, especially what I look for when I'm casting, yes, it's your talent, but it's your personality. I'm very fortunate to go on a lot of locations to make movies. I have to know that I'm bringing a sane person with me on location, to be there. And unfortunately, sometimes I run into people that are so talented, but they can be problematic, and I can't hire them for those reasons. Just be confident. Be comfortable with yourself. You don't need to push. We can tell. I could tell. I could tell when somebody opens their mouth. I really can. Just be confident, and we'll find you, and we'll know what you can do. It's difficult sometimes when you're at a party and you have an actor and they're rambling off the whole resume. It's like if I'm interested, I'm going to go and I'm going to Google you right away. I've done it. I've done it many a times. I don't need to hear the whole, bless you, I don't need to hear the whole resume. So just be confident and show us that you're sure of yourself and your talent, and you'll do fine. And I was going to say the other stuff, but you've said it. So, no, it's good.
So now I'm left with like the pieces here.
You'll come up with, you're a writer. You'll come up with some good.
But you
come up
come
with
at
some
it
good.
from also being a writer and a director and an actor.
Right.
So you have all those aspects, and that whole combination, I think, is so valuable to us.
The thing that I really like about it is, like, if I'm cast in something and I'm on set and I'm working with someone, I'm not just acting with them, I'm also evaluating what they're like. And it's like, okay, is this someone that I might want on my set as a director? Or, is this someone that, I could see would take, the direction properly at, something I've written? And it's interesting because you very, very quickly, it takes 10 seconds to evaluate. And you can see it in somebody's eyes if they're being pure and true of heart. And I've met people who, at one moment, they're completely disingenuous, and it's like they're just like, on the prowl. And then at other moments, in another situation or whatever, I'll run into them, and I almost don't even recognize them, but they're just like more laid back. They're more, comfortable in their own skin. They're not feeling like they're being evaluated so much. And then it's like you really see the core of who that person is and who they might be as an actor. And that to me, that's like the key to like pitching, when you can be just really calm within yourself so that the true you comes through. Because, there have been different classes that I've taken as an actor, and always casting directors, everybody always says the same thing. You're not being hired for how you play the role. You're being hired for you in that role. And so when your personality comes through, that's the key. So when you're meeting anyone, and you never know, if somebody is got like a script that they're developing, or they're, turning into a producer, or they are an actor and a director, or whatever, just be as true to who you are as possible. Because when people feel the truth of you, that is attractive, no matter what you look like, no matter what your talent, no matter what you've done. But seeing that core you, that light that makes your eyes shine, that is the most important thing, I think.
And that's what will make us hire you.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, it's really simple. How might someone put that into practice? What could you do as a person to be able to practice that so that when you are in a situation where there's pressure, that person at the party, I need to go, there they are, I need to talk. How can you practice it? What might be a way for someone to actually practice being, it sounds silly, but being themselves, being the most relaxed and genuine, authentic self?
That's a very good point.
Can I say it?
Yeah, it just happened to me. That's why we're late.
Yeah.
We were at the opening of the film festival, and I had actors hounding me. And meanwhile, we've got to get here, and they know that, and they're like pushing. You have to take my email, and you have. And you know what? I'm kind, and I said, I'm really sorry. I have to get to this panel, and they didn't care. So is that going to make me want to use them? I would be a little leery about that. But you speak now.
Yeah, about how to get. I mean, it sounds a little bit. We're going to go metaphysical, okay, real fast.
Go there.
But you need to go inside yourself, whether it's through meditation, whether it's through church, whether it's through walking in the park and just smelling the air and identifying what makes you you. And when you find yourself in that situation where you're like, I'm going to sell myself, and you feel like your eyes are getting all buggy and everything, it's like, whoa, okay, chill out, take a breath, be myself, or walk away. Because if you're going to do the self thing, it's never going to work. It's never, ever, ever going to work. But when you're relaxed and you're just like, hey, what's going on? So, yeah, great weather, right? It's awesome. And people are, attracted to that. They want to you just got to be comfortable inside yourself. No matter what, life is going to happen the way it's going to happen, and there are things you can do to make it go better. But think about how you feel. Always make sure, look inside and say, am I comfortable right now? Am I happy right now? Okay, then this is good. This is good. And just being good, being in that place where you feel good, that's when you shine, I think.
That's right. I agree.
And have you seen a difference, Donna, of people that come in and talk to you, because you have such a small roster that you manage? The people that you do have on your roster, do you feel like they approached you from a real place? Is that why you're connected to them? Or has something changed now that they're actually working with you? Now they're more comfortable?
Most of the people that I work with now are coming to me via referral. But that doesn't always go as planned, right? It could look like it's a really good fit, and I could be a fan of their work, and they could have heard good things about me, and we set up a meeting, but that doesn't always mean that we connect, right? Or we could just immediately connect. And then, there's a good situation, which I was just talking to you about earlier, where I had a new actor, and we had a great connection, and then we started working together. And within just a very few weeks, she started to change, and she started to call me frantically, and I was in really important meetings, and my phone kept going and going. I was like, what is this? And she texts me, because I guess she emailed, and I didn't respond right away, and she texts me a couple times, and I just wrote, I'm in a meeting, and I couldn't turn my phone off because I do need to know what's going on, even though I'm in a meeting. And so it got weird, and I had to call her on, and she's like, well, what are you submitting me for? I only had 2 auditions. And, she was just completely in a panic. And this is someone who just 3 weeks ago I thought was wonderful. And she's got great credits, and she's wonderfully talented, and she's smart and lovely, and I just didn't even recognize what happened. And that's what I said to her. I'm like, what happened? Where did you go? What's happening? And something happened in the middle of her day where she suddenly panicked and thought that she should be getting all of these auditions or all of this. Her life should have changed in 3 weeks. And 98% of my job is to manage expectations. I manage my own expectations sometimes, and I manage my clients' expectations, whether it's good or we have to pull back a little bit or whatever the situation is. And that's what this ended up becoming, was that she really didn't know what to expect. When we talked about that this is a process and it takes time, and I'm going to pick up the phone and start talking to people about her, but that's going to take time. And, I don't just call a casting director. I don't call Donna up and she just drops everything and just listens to me. It's going to take time for us to communicate with one another, and then I'll probably have to remind her again, and she may be working on something that doesn't correlate with the client that I'm representing. So it just takes time. And in person, this actor understood it fully, but sometime in her alone time, it was all of a sudden, she freaked. And that's fine. And I think a yoga class is great for times like that. But you don't call your manager and start texting, like that was very bad. And now I said to her, I'm fully willing to have this long conversation about how that's not appropriate behavior when you're feeling frustrated. There are so many other things you can do. But unfortunately, very early in our relationship now, there's a big strike there. So she starts to behave weird again, and I'm going to be a little bit more upset. I'm going to, I don't have time to repeat myself on this level with this thing, so that's something to consider too, life goes on beyond the pitch. It's nice to have a great presentation, but the truth is, everybody, like you said, we are all independent people. We all have a lot on the line. We're all working so hard in this business that's amazing and lovely, but very, very difficult. So if you do connect with someone and they believe in you and they're putting their work behind you and to get you forward, treasure that relationship and treat it professionally and passionately and with all honesty. And I'm getting really upset now. Really be good. No, I'm kidding.
I like
Don't call.
it.
No, but it's a really important thing to go in this and do this without being by yourself. So it's an important thing to keep in mind.
Well, and also it feels as though, if she had been that way before, when she had originally met with you, it wouldn't have gone to this level 3 weeks later.
Right.
There wouldn't be a 3 weeks later. But it almost feels as though that shouldn't have happened there. That maybe that person would be the person that you felt that you had met originally. But I think what's so great about what you did is you defined for her boundaries. And I think all of us have done wrong steps. We've done things that, why did I do that? I think I really messed up that opportunity. But again, with this person that you're working with, you said, this is what it is right now. I'll be on watch for this type of behavior, but we hope that it won't be moving forward. So I want to make sure too, things that are strikes, if you will, against actors when we're starting out creating relationships with people. If anyone wants to talk about that too, just so that let's watch these things so we can learn here and not have to learn through our own mistakes out there. Yeah. So that's also, it's super helpful, right? I mean, it makes you feel like, I know that, I'm not going to do that. Donna?
Well, no. There are boundaries that definitely have to be set. I appreciate what you said about, calling, calling me, and you understand if I can't get back to you right away. And I don't only cast, I produce. So a lot of times I am very hard to reach. You can ask her. You can ask my family. They have to follow me on Facebook to know what's going on. And that's what I wanted to say too. A lot of us are very okay with you guys, contacting us or saying hi on social media or following us. But a thing that sets me off is when people start asking for roles on social media or saying, congratulations, you're doing a movie. Well, can I have an audition? Because then it sets a whole chain reaction of 100 more actors. Casting process, guys, is for me, it's like putting together a jigsaw puzzle. All right, if you fit my puzzle, my pieces, I'm going to call you, and I'm going to fight for you. And she could tell you, I'll fight. I've done it. I'm known for it. I've fought for actors that are starting out, SAG actors, with one thing on their, resume, to actors that have a lot of credits. But doing stuff like that, asking for roles on social media, or calling and being like, I've called you, you haven't called me back, and you gotta watch a little bit. It gets a little, bothersome.
Stalkery.
Yeah, thank you, darling. I'm trying to stay nice, but I was nice. I'm gonna call you if you, if you put an impact in my mind, I'm a visionary, and if I remember you, and I remember you for all the right reasons, I'm going to call you. I promise. It might take years, but you can ask actors out there. There's actors that I might have auditioned 3 years and didn't call them in until like 3 years later, right? I'm going to remember you because you put that nice, kind, lasting memory in my mind where I'm going to want to work with you. But yeah, and don't beat yourself up if you don't get called in. You know, don't be like, oh my God, they don't like me, or she likes that one better. No, I try to tell actors all the time. It doesn't mean that you're not talented. It means you didn't fit the piece of this puzzle. Every piece has to fit. And you know what? I don't know what the reason is. Half the time the producers don't, or the director, you know, and of course you're not going to know. But I tell actors, don't beat yourself up. You've got to fit that puzzle. And believe me, if you didn't fit, you wouldn't want to be somewhere where you didn't fit, right? And, you know, just leave a lasting, nice impression, and I'll remember you for the next time, for the next puzzle. So, yeah, but watch with the calling and the social media, and, you know, yeah, that's pretty much it, right? I don't really have a lot of pet peeves other than that.
And Deborah, you know, if you could talk to about, like, from a director's standpoint, what you've seen that would not be as effective method of approaching you, wanting to be a part of projects and things like that. Do you have things that people have done that you're just like, and please don't ever do that again?
Yeah, you have.
Yeah.
I can tell you that.
I am very honest and very straightforward. I don't even, like, you know how women, like, when they run into each other and like, oh my God, hi! Like, I hate that. So, like, if any female ever comes to me like that, immediately it's like, oh my God, no. So that's like right out of the gate. Yeah. And then as far as guys go, there's a thing that a guy does that's almost the same. It's like, hey, like as if they're, you know, that guy in Hunger Games that ran the whole like, what was it? You the guy with the teeth? You know, it's just like, that fake, uber, needy, gimme, you know, it's just so like clingy, and Tennessee Williams Suddenly Last Summer, kind of like eating my flesh feeling that happens, and it shuts me down immediately. And there was even an actor who I ended up casting in the last film, but for a year and a half, every time I would see him, and I was with Donna, and he'd be like, hey, and I'd be like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go this way. And then finally, when he chilled out and I could really look into his eyes and see like the human being that was in there, I was like, okay, I see something. He would play a great con artist. And sure enough, and he did, and it was fantastic. But it wasn't until he got to that place where he would just be like chill and calm that I was like, okay, now I can see who that person is. Because all the other stuff was just like, you know, singing and dancing, kind of like and distracting from whether or not he could actually just be on camera. Because that's another thing, like, you know, you have to think to yourself, is this someone that I'm gonna be able to like chill out when I get them in front of the camera? Because if there's all this like crazy energy of being needy and wanting and, oh, look at me and I need you to love me and everything, then it's like, how am I ever going to be able to find that calm in his eyes, have that the soul come through his eyes? Because that's what happens on film. Your soul comes through your eyes. And that's why close-ups exist, and that's why it's so much more fun in many ways than theater, because there's that moment, and that's so crucial. But if you can't just be calm and yourself, no one will ever see who's in those eyes.
I mean, actually, if I could just kind of go a little bit off topic.
Please do.
I think what I also see, and I so agree with what you're saying, with the actors that are happy for the moment where their careers are, because everybody always wants more, of course. I think it's really important because all of you have so much to do. You have to, you know, with all of becoming a working actor, all of the different things that you need to be doing all the time. I think it's really important to make sure that your personal life is great. And that sounds like, well, of course we're going to do that. But I think sometimes when people are really working really, really hard or struggling or trying, there's this like thought of, well, when I make it, then I'll do this. Or when I have that TV show, then that's when I'll go and have the good life. And I joked around earlier about the yoga class and whatnot, but I feel like those things are really, really super, super important. The yoga classes, the gym membership, whatever it is, the relationships, the home life. That's when I always joke around. I have one client or a couple of clients who, through their 20s, they're single, they're, kind of competing with the next person, whatever. Then all of a sudden, they're engaged. Things get better, then they get married. I'm not here, bragging about marriage, but sometimes the personal life gets better and the auditions get better. And I have my one client who swears all of his success is based on the birth of his son because he feels, he's really giddy and happy every day, and he's not, focused on, I've got to go in and kill that audition, blah, blah, blah. He's feeding his kid. And then he's getting on the subway and he's going to, it's just like Bryan Cranston said when he won like every single award there was for Breaking Bad. He said that a turning point in his career, I'm sure you all saw it, the video went everywhere, but is when he treated the auditions like a performance. And then he threw the piece of paper away when he left. He just went in and he performed. He made his choices, he did his work, and he had a great performance, and then he left. He didn't think of it as, oh my God, they have to hire me, or I'll never have a girlfriend or boyfriend, or, it's that added pressure that I think comes into the room, like you were saying, that doesn't help. It just doesn't help. So,
I tell actors that all the time. Come into the room, have fun, and then walk out of the room and forget about it. Go do something fun, enjoy yourself. Go have that expensive coffee, or go take a run in the park, go have wine, a martini, and just forget about it. But go into the room and have fun, and shine. And let me know you're having fun. That's what I look for when you come in my room. The spark in your eye, the passion. Yep. Don't beat yourself up about it.
I talked to someone earlier tonight about networking and about this idea of what can I expect from networking. So we're talking about going in for an audition and having an opportunity or having an opportunity to meet with someone in the industry. So when you're going to a function that's a networking function, you're going there because there's other industry people, what would you say would be a goal that feels right to the situation in terms of what an expectation of what you can walk away with? What would you think? And so, because we're always trying to turn this networking around so it just doesn't feel like something, I don't want to do it, but you do want to meet people, you do want to show up. So what might be an appropriate expectation for somebody or goal with, say, networking?
I think it's just like a party. I think it's just like, you want to meet a new person, and maybe you go there with that mindset, and I went to an event earlier this week, and I just met new people. It's not that I didn't meet the head of the network or anything. I just met new people, and we talked, we joked around and had, personal stories to share, and now we're a little bit connected. It's just the beginning. It's just like a little bit of a intro. It doesn't mean anything. I can't call them up and get them on the phone tomorrow, but there was an intro. There was something. So I think it's just, again, having fun and being relaxed, but it's just like setting an expectation of, 6 degrees of separation. So you don't walk up to the big guy in the room and say, here I am, blah, 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 blah. You just maybe meet some other people and don't talk about the business. Talk about other things and be endearing and yourself, like we've been saying before. And I think that's better, because I feel like that also, that energy's in the room when you're feeling like, I was actually with a couple of agents the other day, and they were joking around because we were at this event, and everyone's talking to each other like this, but they're like looking at everybody else in the room, like they're so afraid that they're going to miss somebody to walk, and that's how our conversations were going, like, yeah, hi, how are you? And we're just like looking so we don't miss the next person walking in, and that's silly. I mean, we could do that because we all work together, but you don't want to be that person that's just like, hi, how are you? Okay, hi, how are you? You want to just let yourself have fun with one, and that's a success. One new person.
Can I interject something really quickly, too? Now, what Donna was setting up as a scenario, that was 2 agents and a manager. Doesn't that feel like a group of actors? I mean, that feel is that, I'm at the party, or I went to see an event, I'm at a screening, I'm at a show, or I'm at an audition. And it feels like, to me, it's like, be in your humanity, be as a person in that situation, because it's not only for actors, it's for all of us in networking, and everybody, because we're all independents, do have to network. I love how you turn that around, though, and you make it so that a specific goal could be meeting someone new and turning off the needy, the dial down on the neediness.
Well,
Go.
I have 2 kids, and they're 11 and 12, and we just moved to New Jersey 2 years ago to get out of the city, better schools, everything. But for the first, 10 years, 9 and 10 years of their lives, we lived in Brooklyn, and every day we would go on the playground crawl, and we'd go here and there. We'd do all these great, and then they started acting, and so sometimes there'd be like, different auditions that I would have and they would have, and in between we would do different playgrounds for after each audition. It was so much fun. So it was really about going to the playgrounds. And then I started to realize right around that same time, and I moved around a lot as a kid, and so I was really good at meeting people and just talking about anything but what I was actually there for, because it's just the way I kind of was brought up by my parents. And so when we would go to a playground, I would notice, I'd start talking to other parents. And so many times in this city now, the way the film production is, somebody would be a director or a writer or an actor or an agent. And it was just a really funny thing. And then I was like, you know what? Maybe when I go to some of these parties, these film parties or whatever, what if I just treated it like it was a playground? And I go in and it's like, all right, the kids, they'll go up to anyone and be like, hey, can I play with that toy? Hey, I have some water. Do you need water? Here you go. And just be the way kids are and enjoy it. And it's like, how great is it when you're little and you can just go somewhere and just be like, hey, want to go on the swings with me? And I don't know you, but hey, come on, let's go swinging, and right? And that's, it adds just this wonderful innocence. That's the thing that happened, that's the thing that's missing for so many people when they get into that desperate place, the innocence. Because ultimately, we're all just like kids in these grown-up bodies. That's it. So why not just enjoy? The best part, too, that I have to remind myself and everyone is we have the most incredible lives. We don't work on Wall Street. We don't work as lawyers. We work in the film and TV and theater business. We are about playing pretend for life. It's like you never have to grow up. Oh my God. And we're all the same. None of us want to grow up. So if you just look at it as like, okay, I don't want to grow up, you don't want to grow up, but what can we talk about? And that isn't like acting, because there's so much. So.
Networking is really important. I'm a firm believer of it. I just came from networking myself. Yeah, I go on auditions just like you guys do. How many auditions did I go on today? 50?
Probably.
There were producers and directors there. I want to be hired, so. But did I tell them that? No. I talked about their family, their life, their trip. So when you're networking, make it fun. Talk about other things. Talk about other interests. We know you're actors, but let's hear about you and your likes and your dislikes, and that's what we look for. I hire lots of people at networking events, not at the events, but I'll say, oh my God, that's an actor over there I watch. I'm a people person, watcher, and I'll be like, I want to know. I just did it at the party. I Googled somebody. I was like, are they an actor? Okay, yeah. Because I just watched them for 2 hours where they were so comfortable in their skin. They didn't even tell people they were an actor, We kind of just knew, and it was just like having a great conversation. I'm a firm believer in networking. You guys should all network. Yeah, you're actors. Network. Go up to people. Hi. How are you? How's your night going? And one thing will lead to another. But I like to let actors know that I go on auditions just like you do. Because, they might be called job interviews, but to me, I'm auditioning. I'm auditioning for a director, right? And there's many more of me, so I'm, up against many people like you guys are. We audition. And I think it makes actors feel a little better when they know that. The jobs don't come that easy, okay? But, yeah, definitely networking for you guys. You should definitely do it. And no boundaries, okay? Know if the conversation is getting a little lull that, okay, they're done. And walk away graceful. You don't have to keep, pounding. That means the person's done. Walk away. We'll know that. Watch where you network, at a party. One thing that gets to me, I know at networking events, there's drinking and stuff, but if an actor comes over and they're reeking or they're getting obnoxious, yeah, don't do that. It's still a business. Even though it's a networking event, which is great, there's open bar, hey, that's great, we like to have cocktails, but remember where you are too. Even for my auditions and at a networking event, your auditions with me start when you're on the street, walking into this building. I tell actors that all the time. Your auditions start from the glass doors downstairs. I'm watching you, or I have people watching you. You know we have people watching. Especially if I'm going on location, I got to know, you know? So even at a network event, I'm watching you. If there's a little piqued interest in you, I'm going to watch you through the whole event and see how you handle yourself with other people and how pushy you are or you're not and how comfortable you are. I'm just being real and being kind to others, too. I'm big on that. I look for that. I sometimes you'll have a bunch of actors talking to you, and then one will try to, step on the other one, and I find that rude. It's like, you know what, you all have your time. Be courteous to your fellow actors, because I look for that a lot. And that's my networking story.
I love it. I think that's really helpful, and it may come, sometimes some of these topics end up going dovetailing one into another, or they all they become entwined because we're constantly looking for work, and there's lots of aspects to looking for work. And so that is in a beautiful general sense of how we might look at goals, going into an industry-related event, an opportunity to meet someone, even if it is someone that is at the playground, or we can take that joy that you're talking about at the playground into a networking, a party, or an opening, or a situation like that. Now let's talk a lot about being specific, when we have to be specific about who we are. And that could come, recently a friend was talking to me about, he had gotten the courage to start writing letters to some of his friends who had referred agents to him. But he said, Lori, I don't know what to say about myself in the letter. I don't even know a little tiny thing to say. He felt so uncomfortable with that. And I could feel it. It was real for him, because we've talked earlier about humility. We've talked about being real. But what if you don't know what you come off as? I mean, it's very personal when we're talking about pitching. And if you say, I'm this kind of person, or I have these qualities of this type of person, and, it's kind of vulnerable. What if you don't? And you're looking for an agent. So it's not where the agent is selling to the casting director, or the casting director is saying why we need to have this person seen. It's the person starting, maybe someone who's starting out, or someone who's looking for representation because they've been in the business, now they're looking for someone new. How do you find out how to talk about yourself?
I would love to take a crack at that, if that's okay.
No.
I think that there's a lot of work an actor can do. Theater, I think the work speaks for you in a situation like that. And yeah, when we're networking, be true and honest and humble. But if you're really trying to push yourself forward and separate yourself from the pack, what resonates for me, and I think every actor has this power, we're in New York City. There's so much theater that can be done. Everybody has a web series. I would be really, really busy doing work, because the other thing is, regardless of the representation, they don't want someone who's describing themselves. What we want is someone who's doing a lot of work. And it doesn't have to be that you're on network television, obviously, because you really can't get there without representation. But all the actors I work with come to me with, I just did this 6-week workshop, I just did this play downtown, I just did this, I have a review, I have this, I have whatever it is. Friends of mine got together and read a play out loud in this place, and we invited so-and-so. I would be in motion, and that's when you have something to talk about. And I always feel like the actors that I really respond to are humble human beings, and their work leads the way. Like, they don't have to tell me what kind of an actor they are, and they don't, because their work tells me what kind of an actor they are, and then we could sit down and talk about where they want to go, or what they want to do, or who they want to work with, or something. But I think that especially here in this town, there's just no shortage of things to do, and that should be the conversation, is the activity versus the selling points or traits or whatever.
I totally agree with that. Yeah, and I think it's really important. That's why I act, direct, write, produce, because rather than sitting around waiting for the phone to ring with that perfect role exactly as I want it to be, I'll create it. And, with someone like a producing partner like Donna, she helps me get the magical, perfect cast that puts the puzzle together. And but we ended up meeting through, I auditioned for her. Well, first I auditioned for you. And then,
And she didn't get the job.
No, but we were chatting, and we were talking because we had a mutual friend.
Yes.
And then we were talking a little bit, and then we ran into each other about a year later, and I had this script ready, and I was like, hey, I hear you can get me Eric Roberts. And then the rest is history, but, it was that body in motion. It's like the law of physics. A body in motion tends to stay in motion, and you cannot dispute that fact. And, right after that film got started and happening, then I got another one going, and then now there's other ones happening. And in the meantime, I go and I act, and that's the vacation. That's the that's the easy thing. But it's fun, and I feel like fulfilled finally for real, because I'm really taking my future, my destiny in my hands, but also then putting so many great actors to work. Donna's like, oh, you got to see this guy. He's from Hong Kong, and there we go. And sure enough, yep, cast him. He was awesome. I worked with him on something else, and we just clicked just that right way. He was chill and mellow, but I could see who he was. And, but if you, like you said, there is no, now with even the new iPhone 6 Plus, people are doing film festivals of the 6 Plus. There's a movie that's coming out. I saw it on Facebook that was shot on the iPhone 6. It's that, there's no excuse. There is just no excuse anymore. If you have the desire, then you find the outlet.
I tell actors make their own work all the time. You are so blessed with all the wonderful SAG-AFTRA contracts we have.
Just a little closer.
Sorry.
Just a little closer.
Okay, sorry. You are very blessed. You have great SAG-AFTRA contracts. You don't need a lot of money no more. I know people that have made web series, short films, even independent films for very little money. Create your own work if you don't have something to show. Get your friends together and do it. I feel like I've encouraged a lot of people to do that in their career, and it's one of my proudest things. Don't wait for the phone to ring. You don't have to know more. You don't need millions. You don't need thousands. We're indie films, make an indie film. You never know what's going to happen. Right?
Right. Another thing is monologues. I love monologues, and I don't know. I love them when they're done well. They are my favorite. And a lot of times when, I said earlier, I usually am meeting actors at this point in time through a referral. The first thing I'll say, even if they've got tons of credits, I'll just say, because they'll say, how can we start this off on our best foot? I'll just say, if you can, in the next, there's no time limit, but go away and give me 2 monologues on tape. And I do that with no anything else said about it, because I love what the actors come up with, because they usually, if the actor's been working, they'll use that as this is the other thing I can do. You see me doing all of this, but I could do this. But the other thing is, just in a quiet way, I know another actor who was working in independent films, and he just fell in love with this letter that he found in a book from a thrift shop or whatever, and it was a letter of someone in their 20s who had just left home and had come to America, and he was writing letters back home. And this actor turned these letters into a couple of different monologues, and he had his friend tape them. And at the time, it didn't turn into something, but a couple of years later, he started with a new agent, and he gave those monologues to the new agent, and he got himself a pretty sweet job from that. So you never, ever know. But it was interesting to him, and again, it goes back to being yourself and doing what's important to you, but that cost $0. Not, and the other thing is, when you're looking for a monologue, I think actors, then you're reading all the time. It's like another project. It's this whole other thing. It takes life of itself. It could be daunting and overwhelming, but it's also encouraging to seek that out. And that's all we want to see. It's just the work and your work coming through. So,
it sounds like there's talk about genuine connection with others, but also to yourself, to your truth about what gets you excited about the art, about telling stories. Deborah, did you start directing because you had a story to tell, because you didn't start out as a director, is that correct?
No.
You started out as an actor, and that's
Yep.
primarily, well, that's one of the many things that you do. How did that happen?
I could give you a really quick Reader's Digest version of something. When I was 16, up until I was 16, my parents thought that I was going to go to medical school and be a plastic surgeon because my grandfather was a plastic surgeon. I really wanted to work with burn victims. But I was getting more and more involved in theater. And then I got my acceptance to NYU for drama. And my dad sat me down. He's like, Deb, this is really bad. I mean, you're going to end up like, driving a taxi or waitressing or something like that. Actors just, they don't make it. And I was like, well, Daddy, I've been writing since I was 4. Worst case scenario, I will write my own movies and star in them. And he was like, okay, Deb, whatever. And I'm like, ta-da.
Did you invite, is it May 25th or May 26th?
May
now?
26th
When
at the
you're
New York Women
having
in
a
Film.
theatrical release of the current movie that you did and that Donna cast for you.
Yeah, A Cry from Within is playing at the Anthology Film Archives it's a special night of screening for New York Women in Film. And, but so I was an actress first, but I always had it in the back of my mind that, because I've been writing since I was little. We moved around a lot, and everywhere that I moved, I saw like the different characters. Like truly, there are the archetypes. There's like the football player. There's the cheerleader who pretends to be happy, but at home, like her parents are alcoholics and she's devastated. And there's like all these different characters, and I was fascinated by that. And so, I drew on that as an actor, but then in the back of my mind, I always stored these people and these plots and these ideas to create movies. And then in '96, I was a baby basically, and I wrote my first feature and then magically found money, which ended up being dirty. But anyway, that's a whole other
That's
story.
another movie for you to write.
But I wrote it, produced it, and starred in it. And the guy that I was with at the time, he directed it. And then I did some more acting for a while, and then directed. Like I direct when I have to, and it's always something that I've written, because if it's come out of my mind and it's come out of my experience, I feel like I want to mold this perfectly the way I see it. But it's all consuming. It's really just such a consuming thing that's why I said, like, when I then get cast on, like, when I get on Blue Bloods or Law and Order or whatever, it's like, whoa, babe, this is a vacation. And I did this indie film a couple weeks ago. It was 6 overnights. Like, it was 5 o'clock at night until 5 o'clock in the morning. And the actors, they were like, this is bullshit. This sucks, man. And craft service sucks. And oh my God. And if it goes beyond 12 hours, I'm calling SAG. And I was like, you guys have no idea how good you have it. You're just actors. You don't have to worry about like distribution, when craft service is coming, you're paying the investors back, none of that. Relax, enjoy. It's amazing. But I direct because I desperately want to with certain things that I've created. But other than that, I love being an actor. It's awesome. It's so easy by comparison.
They bring you lunch.
Yes.
It's so inspiring, isn't it? To hear she's one of us. She's an actress who's decided to take the advice and create, and what you're saying too, Donna, of your clients, they're being happy. They're engaged in their lives and in their work and in continuing to grow. Because I think sometimes we think it's a one shot. Like, if I don't get this, everything's done, or if I don't meet this person, or if I don't do it the right way. And so, we've talked a little bit about initially meeting somebody. What about staying in touch with people that you like, and maybe sometimes you love what they've done, you love the work you've done together, but that project is over. That was 7 years ago, and then this other person you worked together 2 years ago. What do you think is a good way of approaching continuing to keep those contacts, those people that already have met you, they already like you, they've probably worked with you? What do you suggest to keep those contacts alive?
Facebook. Christmas cards.
Really?
Why not? Facebook, it's okay. No, just, yeah. I'm going to remember you. I know actors from, 15 years ago that I've worked with, and I still remember, and I'm waiting and waiting. I always tell an actor, your time's going to come when it's supposed to happen. Be patient. It will happen. If this is what you really believe in and you really want, and you're passionate about it, it will happen. you know, and I know I feel bad for actors, I do, because I know we want everything right now, you know, but maybe right now is not good, you know, so, you know, it'll come. Don't give up and it'll come.
Yeah, just keep doing the work, you know,
Yes.
class, if that's what you need or want, or, you know, creating your own work. But I say that a lot of times too. It's like, it just seems like this thing that let us down is like the biggest thing ever. And then all of a sudden, 6 months later, something else happens that was even better, but we couldn't see it at the time. So as long as you're, you don't just like, you know, leave town and then expect it to happen, you know what I mean? That doesn't work. You have to kind of stay here and stay in the mix and stay doing what you're doing, and then the right thing will turn around again.
Or you make it happen, like Deb. You know, Deb was, so when we were filming A Cry From Within, which I'm really proud of because a lot of people told us we couldn't do it. Many. 2 girls, yeah, going to make a movie with an all-star cast on hardly any money. And we had a lot of good
It
SAG
ended up
actors.
not being hardly any.
No, right, exactly. But while we were on set filming, she's a writer in the movie. So there she is, writing the next movie in the movie. And we already filmed that. Like, we just got done. Well, last week
Now
or
it's going to be
something.
done by the end of June.
So she's
completely.
actually in the movie writing as a writer, and she's writing our next movie that we already shot.
And Donna kept saying, "Would you focus on what you're
I
supposed to be
know.
doing?" And I'm like, "I'm a writer."
You know, she's writing the
movie. I'm a
She keeps coming
writer,
up to us
so I'm
like,
writing.
Oh my God! And she's writing for actors that I've met at workshops that I've brought to her attention. Workshops are really great. You know, I teach a lot at the SAG Nightcap program. I've cast many people from there. Right? Many, many, many people. I love watching you perform scenes. I'm a visionary. So I do, and then, you know, you perform a scene for me, you'll stay in my head, and I'll go to her and say, you got to meet this actor, and then she'll understand the reasons why. So, yeah. But definitely the classes are very important, and the workshops.
But I got to say, like, back to what we were talking, like, there are people that I did work with, you know, on the first film that I did back in '96, and, you know, I became friends with a lot of the people that I'd lost touch with when I joined Facebook in like 2007, and I got back in touch with all these actors that were in that film that I still really liked, and I was like, wow, where have you been? And then we talked to each other. I cast many of them again in these 2 films that I just did, and it was because we were in touch again. And so it's like, it's really, you know, the social media thing, it's very much part of who we are now, and I look to that. Like, there'll be times I'll be thinking, okay, I need somebody who's this character, but I don't want to bother Donna because I know she's got 4 other things she's doing. So I'm going to go through my whole Facebook list here and see.
That's good.
Now I know.
There you go.
Donna
I
and
like
Donna.
that. See, I like when managers and agents do that and say, but you really got to see this client of mine, Donna. And I'm like, oh my God, but they might not be right. But then I admire what you do. And then I see them just for you, but I didn't mean to.
Well, thank you. I
No,
hope
no,
we don't
it's
bug
not-
you too much.
But it's important. Like, you know, it's really important to, like, you know, reach out. And, you know, there are actors that I've started to get to know. I know you through David, you know, and I saw him tonight, and he's like, oh, my girlfriend's going to be at the SAG panel. I'm like,
Oh, yes.
great.
Hi,
I totally
darling. I was
recognize
supposed to give you a hug.
And it's like a really, and I've never met you in person, but I know you through Facebook. And it's such a great tool. And if you use it properly, and you don't, like, you know, I get these weird messages. It's like, oh, I see you're making another movie. I'm great at this, and here's my reel. And it's like, no, talk to me about, like, what matters to you. Right. Do you do you love your mom? Do you like saving animals? Do you like you know, look at my page and see what, like, gets me excited. And if anything like that gets you excited, then let's talk about that. You know, I'm really into, like, all these weird things about, like, aliens and stuff. You know, ancient aliens, like, turns me on. Send me something about ancient aliens. It's like, ooh, I want to talk to that person if it's genuine, and I can figure that out really quickly too.
Right, and genuine's really important.
Always, we
It's
always
really
go back to that.
important. You know, I'm approachable, and I don't mind if people approach me. And I sometimes I get a little upset and hurt if they approach me only when they see a breakdown out or they see the SAG sheets, and it's like, okay, you know what? I could have used a hello like maybe 3 months ago when I had nothing going on. You know, I'm kind of like an actor in a way too, you know, waiting for work. But why are you approaching me now? Like, oh my God, we were thinking about you. We hope you're well. We hope your family's well and all this. And it was like, okay, yeah, you saw the breakdown. So whenever breakdown hits, I got a million friends.
Oh,
But
it's funny, actually.
No, it's true though.
Yeah.
Or sad.
It's sad
Yeah, it's
and
funny or
true.
sad. Well, one of the questions that came in before we got started here, someone said, do you suggest sending out postcards? We're talking about social media. We're also talking about mail. So does anyone want to take a crack at that? Do you suggest sending out postcards?
You go.
Well, for me, I do like postcards with something to say, and sometimes when I'm working with a new actor, if they want to do mailings and whatnot, like I have an actor who's just starting out. She's going to EPAs. She's doing it all independently, and she just like loops me in, and then she sends everybody a postcard, and she follows up. But she has something fun to say, and she's just a very witty young woman, and that works. But you know, again, it goes back to like the networking. The postcard is a really great tool, and I would, if I were an actor, I would just strategically look at the people. I wouldn't just send postcards to everybody. I would say, okay, this person might be cast shows that I like and I could be on, or this person does interesting theater, or this person, and then have something to say briefly on the postcard, and maybe, you know, when you have something new to say, don't just keep sending them and doing the same thing, because we do get them and we do see them, and then if you're saying the same thing, then that's not, you know, cool. But then a full mailing where you mail the headshot and there's a letter, that's not good. That's just a waste of material.
Yes, old school.
For me.
Old school, me too.
Okay.
When is that? Is there any time that's a good idea? Because that was another question on here too.
Not for
should we,
headshots?
like sending, should you send a headshot with a letter, and then what should you be writing in the letters? Well, and you just answered in the postcards. That was a two-part question.
I
from someone.
prefer the postcard because obviously it's very quick and easy,
Yeah.
whatnot. But if I've had people send me a headshot with a letter, but they've had something really big to say, so you kind of have to use your own judgment with that, and you know, something of importance. Like I just got back from Sundance, and you know, but even something like that, I would think if you're coming back from Sundance, you're probably being introduced to me, and you're not having to do a mailing. But I think postcards keep it casual and quick, and when you start to, you know, look into an envelope and there's a headshot, it's kind of like jumping a step, and the letter has to really say something that's like off the scale for me to be like, okay, I'm going to hold on to this. So,
Deborah, when you were out doing your work as an actor, did you ever use any of these tools to success? I mean, I don't know what your attention was on, or if you already had people that were representing you.
I worked with a manager mostly, not agents so much, agents commercially, and with the managers, everything comes through referrals. I mean, it's like I got my management through referrals both times, and whenever, like I blew through thousands of dollars probably in between making other movies and doing this and that, trying to like send out the mass mailings with the headshots and everything. This is years, we're talking 90s. I would not do it ever again, because I think with, you know, being on the other end where I get the headshots, it's junk mail, sadly. And it's a sad thing to have to say out loud.
right.
Because it you know, you're taught as an actor that is the most crucial tool, and to do those mass mailings, I mean, it's like, you know, but it's a waste. It's a waste, and it's sad.
Have a website.
Yeah.
Have a website, utilize social media, and then if you want to do a postcard, note the website. So if we want to know more about you, we could go to the website. But the paper now, I think, you're right. It's not what's happening now.
I don't like the headshots really no more, because of half the times when I get them, I know when you come into my room, you're not going to really look like that. You're going to be all glammed up. And I make indie films. I want the real thing. I want the 5 o'clock shadow, you know? I mean, I could visualize you with the 5 o'clock shadow, but sometimes directors can't. I like the postcards, and I'm big on digital. But again, that's just me. And here's something I want to let actors know, too. And with managers and agents and CDs and directors and everybody, know who you're sending it to. Know who you're auditioning for. We're all different. We all want different things, you know? You like monologues. I don't. If anybody came in and did a monologue for me, I'd cry. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but I prefer scenes, you know? I like postcards with something to say. Not every month. You know, every 4 or 5 months. And you know what? We're human. Sometimes a postcard will hit me, and I'm in the middle of casting, and I'll see that person. I'll be like, oh, my God. I forgot about that person. And it just came at the right time. One thing I love, and when I do my workshops here, I show the actors, and they get baffled by the electronic submissions, and she knows because I showed her, and she actually, when we made our movie, she saw the other side
It
of
was
what I go through.
daunting.
I'm talking about for one role, I could get 4,000 submissions of all you guys for one role. You saw. Okay?
It totally took the wind out of my sails. I looked at that. I was like,
One role.
oh my God.
My mailman's happy I don't take headshots no more because, well, he's missing the Christmas bonus, but he used to come with bags. But no, really, I love letting actors know, like, you guys don't know how many submissions. And I really go through them. She knows that. I take a long time, and I go through them, and I prefer the reels and the websites. But, it's, yeah. So, but there might be people that still likes the headshots
I
in the
think
paper.
That's a good point too, is like doing your research then and getting
Very
to know, some managers don't like monologues and
Right.
whatnot. And the people you're approaching, like when someone meets me for the first time and for whatever reason, and they have not looked at my website and they don't know who else I represent, that's a really big red flag. I mean, most of the actors that sit down with me have, they know who I represent, they know where my clients are working and what's going on. And so if you're approaching someone and you're sending them a postcard or you're sending them something or you're meeting with them, have a specific plan for this person or these types of people. Like what Donna just said, every casting director is different.
Absolutely.
And so, workshops and taking classes with them is really, really important so that you can get a feel for who they are and what their likes are and what their dislikes are. And we're all human beings. We all have things that we love and things that we don't really respond to. So it's important to try and get that information.
Do it, it'll work. I tell actors, do your research before your audition. And we are different, not that there's anything wrong with that. We all do things different ways. But it's going to be easier for you when you come into our room knowing what to expect or knowing if you're at a networking event, okay, yeah, we can approach Donna and, we've got videos on the internet. Anybody can find anything about any of us, and know what we like. And know when you with me, I don't see a lot of people for one role. She knows that. I see about 20 people. So I go through those 4,000 headshots with a fine-tooth comb, to fit my puzzle. But then there might be somebody else that's going to see hundreds, right? Yeah. So no, do your research before you go on your audition. And you'll know the mood of the room. I try to put it out there for my audition who's going to be in the room, right? And I let you know in your invitation, you're going to be reading for me. Usually with me, you go right to me and the producers. I don't pre-screen you. If I pre-screen you, I'm going to have you self-tape, or I'm going to pre-screen you from your reel or your website. I love reels and websites. It's great.
One thing that's really important is to be on Actors Access if you're not
Oh,
already.
yeah.
That's crucial because that, with the resume and the pictures, and there's usually
Right
many
there.
pictures
Yes.
and many reels. It's crucial. And, that's really key tool, I think.
Yep, and SAG-AFTRA. I go there a lot, for my actors. That's another big, important one. And, yeah.
Well, and I think that it's so important when we're talking about the topic of how to pitch yourself, which I think we've redefined in some ways. It's sort of about how to put yourself out there to hopefully meet the people that are looking for you at that time, the things that they are doing. So with all that, and we talk about the tools that we have to have, for instance, website, reels, it's like being able to also, I think, by the work that you have, like you were talking about earlier, concentrating the work, that we sort of end up showing someone who we are when we're talking about pitching ourselves or branding ourselves by the body of work that we have. And if we don't have something that represents who we think we can be for current projects, then we need to go film that. We need to go have that, find an opportunity to get that so that you can have that door open for you to
We
get
do that
in.
a lot. I will have the actress self-tape if they don't have something to show, and it's easier. I think it's easier. I like it because of if they don't have anything to show, like a reel or website. I'd rather have you put yourself on tape with your iPhone or your iPad so I could see your presence. And I think it's great for the actors because there's a lot of great actors and they're not very good at auditioning. It's very intimidating. My God, I know it is. And it shouldn't be. But it is. We all get nervous. I get nervous when I hold auditions, right? I want to throw up before an audition because I want to do good for you guys. I want you to do good. And I'm like, but yeah, so the self-taping is really important if you don't have anything. Absolutely.
I have a question. This harkens back just a few topics back, but this is a question. How can you make yourself stand out in a cold email to an agent's office? So we don't have an agent here with us tonight, but I think we could talk about the topic of a cold email, meaning you weren't invited to send an email, so you're sending something. How might you approach this question?
Don't. Well, I think that's kind of tricky water because, you might be trying to skip a step. So let's just say there's all different types of agents, and they're all different types of levels of actors that they're working with, right? So let's just assume that you're reaching out to an agent who would be at your level of who you are in your career, and that you're not jumping higher. You're not saying, hello, somebody at ICM, without, yeah, let's just assume. So even if it's that, then all of the agents have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of actors. So it's, again, goes back to let the work speak for itself, and having work be the reason why you would be reaching out, and maybe, kind of do your research and find out anyone at, sometimes there's so many different things to talk about right now, but, I would say stay working, and in the mix of those things, you'll meet agents who are going to be attracted to you versus sending someone a cold email. But if we're going to go the cold email way, I would make it funny. I would be very funny, and you'd have to be really funny, and that's a fine line. That's a tricky way to go, because you can't just head it off in the straight way. You can't just say, hi, I'm an actor, I think you'd be great to represent me. You can't do it unless you have a lot of work behind you. And so I think you're better off going to EPAs and doing shows, and hopefully you'll be cast in shows where other people in the cast have agents, and they'll come to see the show, and then they'll see you working, and that's the way to meet and network and move around the industry. Just to send someone a cold email, it's just, because I know, even I have less than 20 clients, and I zip through my emails, because there's so much going on all the time. If I don't recognize someone's name and I don't recognize why they're reaching out to me, I'm not looking at that until maybe 10 o'clock at night. I'll go back and look at the ones that are not urgent. And if it's just someone saying, this is why you should represent me, I'm not paying attention. So just imagine if you're an agent, you have 200 clients. That's, so I don't think that's the way to get their attention, to tell you the truth.
I think it's possible if you were going to do that email thing, which I don't think anyone has any success with, basically, the only way that I could conceive of that it would work is if you knew someone that was their client, but that you were really, truly friends with, and said, oh, so-and-so, and make sure that that person is cool with it, said, oh, well, Joe Schmo said that I should contact you, and have that in the subject, but
Have Joe Schmo send the email.
Yeah, that's better.
That's great. Yes, have
Yeah.
someone on your behalf who already has that connection, that referral. Because that's so much what we're talking about. It's the work begetting work, and then also about the opportunity to reach out to people through something that there's a commonality. Some of it's common sense. It feels as though neediness is a general kind of idea, and being clear and specific in terms of who you're contacting, what they do, and what you do. Now, let me ask you something else. Have you ever run into somebody who says, I am this kind of actor, I do these kinds of things, and you're like, oh my gosh, that is not you at all? Again, pitching or branding. Maybe someone has an idea of themselves that isn't really true. Have you ever had somebody come to you, or that you've run into, and that's the case, where it's not matching who they think they are, what they think they are, and what they're really doing?
Yeah, and I think some casting directors, again, the classes that casting directors teach, that's where it's priceless, because they will help you with that. And that, when I'm looking to represent someone, that's one of the things I weigh very heavily, is to see that the actor has a very healthy view of who they are and how they read and where they are in the total. Because that radar is really, really important for us if we're gonna take this business on. So, but so many of the casting directors teach these classes, and they're so brilliant at doing that, and they could help you get there and see, because I mean, my business is different now, but when I started, I went to a lot of showcases and whatnot. I would see the headshots, like Donna just said, that did not look like the actor. And I was a big advocate of, having the actor really, because they're so expensive too. The headshots are so expensive. I would really work with them to like hone those so those two things match. But again, there's some casting directors that kind of have reputations of like being really razor smart with that and helping actors say, no, you don't play the mom, you play this, or, and help the actor get there. But, the people are out there, the casting directors are out there, and cross-reference, if Donna says these 4 things and go see someone else and someone else and someone else and ask people, and not your family, because your family always will love you and they'll always see you in one way, but, ask other people.
Definitely. If I could, it's a little different question, but it's an important thing to touch upon. We're talking about, knowing who you are. That also goes for special skills. Please, guys. If you see a breakdown and it says you must speak Italian, and I'm shooting a movie in Italy, please don't call me up and say, I'm Hispanic and I speak Spanish, but I could do Italian, or, I can learn, because, that's not what we're asking for. Special skills are really important. I did a movie and it was about an Olympic swim team. Everybody's swimmers. Oh, yeah. Everybody's swimmers. We're all swimmers. But I said, must be, Olympic swimmer. And you know what? We gave you an audition in a swimming pool, and half of the people did not know how to swim. And that was a problem, because number one, it's dangerous for us. Oh, yeah. So please be truthful to your special skills. Please, it's so important. If we need you to ride a bike and you haven't ridden a bike in 20 years, then don't submit. And not only that, because we get excited, like say, you submitted and, you tell me you can play the harmonica. And my director's loving you and I'm loving you, and then we find out you can't play. It's a letdown. I'm doing a movie right now, and the kids are musicians. And there was some great actors that I couldn't hire because they really couldn't play the guitar, and they had to, or the drums. And, it was a big letdown. I mean, we have two great SAG actors. I mean, I'm blessed, beyond blessed. We found them. And, but yeah, be true to your special skills. Please be true to your special skills.
That's always
frustrating.
Yeah,
I know. It's very frustrating.
Because I was on the other side of that, especially when I started. I hope I never did it with you, but
No,
when we did that, it's like it said, must horseback ride. I'm like, yeah, let's submit. We'll get to a lesson tomorrow. Let's get in there.
If you
The
fall,
great cell. The cell,
Like,
yes.
just go.
Which
know
we're
what
always
that
doing
breakdown says. If it says must in big
I won't do
letters,
it again, I promise.
then we know. That's it. If it says, it would be beneficial if you can, do this, or that. Yeah. But if it says those words must, especially with dialect, oh my God, are you kidding? Oh my God.
Yeah.
But yeah, know it.
Yeah, I did that too. I was like, we could get a dialect coach. Just go.
I'm sorry. We don't have time. It's so cute. No, I love that you're saying this. But no, and it's indie film. I can't pay somebody to come in and show you how to do these things half the time, right?
And that's true too, because you're filming the next day or something.
Absolutely.
So
Right.
don't listen to me on that one.
No, it's okay. But no, just know that, because it's a letdown. It's disappointing, and yeah. And then the director might be, and honestly, when somebody sees a breakdown, and like they'll do, like if I say, I'm looking for blondes, must be. When I use the word must, okay, that means that it has to be no ifs, ands, or buts. There's reasons why, and you don't know the reason. And it'll say must be, 5'9". It has to be, because, it's probably something to do with the other co-star. And and I get a 5'7". That shows me, my God, that person can't follow direction. What are they going to do in my set? Or what I do on breakdowns, because I put my breakdowns out with all the agents and managers, and because I know a lot of fantastic actors don't have representation, I put it on Actors Access. And if I write on there, do not contact the director, the production company, I write that. That happened to you. And you contact my director or production company, that shows me, my God, that person can't take direction. And sometimes I do it just to see, because, we have to know these things. So those little, little hints, the little things, notes we put on breakdowns, there are other reasons behind that sometimes. So, watch it. Be careful on that.
Donna, this is another.
Lesson
Oh,
learned.
go ahead.
I was going to say, I learned a lesson.
Okay, she's so cute.
Well, we're all learning a lot tonight. This is just great stuff, great stuff. How do you have fun in the room with a serious role? This question
Make
just
it
came
fun.
in.
I love it. You make it fun. You make it your own. Yeah, we get some serious roles, and I'm going to be starting auditions next week with children, and 9 to 11, and well, not next week, the week after, and they're both dying of cancer in the scene, you know. But I know these kids are going to come in and make it fun, you know. I always say to an actor, bring a little bit of your personality into the role. You can make it a good time with a serious role. I've seen it. I've seen it done. Put a little spin on it. It's hard, you know, because a lot of times an actor will come in and you don't know what to expect, and we don't know what to expect. And this is the truth, guys. Sometimes you guys come in. I'm very big on choices. I love when an actor makes choices, realistic choices. You know, that's acting. When you come in and make a choice, we might not have thought of it, me and my director, it happened to us, right? And we might be, holy crap, we're putting that in our movie. or you know, I like improv, all right? A lot of auditions you can't improv. In my audition invitations, it'll say, you will be able to improv a little bit. I want to see what you're going to bring, you know, to the party. So make it fun, you know, treat it fun, even a deep moment. You could definitely put a spin on it, you know. And just the way, you know, come in, say hi, be happy, go into your role, and then come out of it and be all happy. Yeah. I think I answered that right. That's a little hard.
Well,
But it makes fun.
But I think sometimes when we talk about things that are so, you know, that just, it's part of your everyday.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in order to get closer to what you're talking about as far as an ideal around it, that a little more explanation is helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And so thank you for that.
Okay.
I didn't write the question, but someone else here
Okay.
did.
Well,
And,
it
you know,
was
I
hard
think
to
I think it's helpful because it's just like what you're saying, Donna. It's like about being aware of the different people that you're meeting and keeping track of it, so that when you go in for that person, you know what the vibe is going to be.
Right,
You know how to
exactly.
prepare yourself, because we all meet so many people all the time in the industry. And if there's that one little thing that you're remembering about what you connected about, and you're keeping some kind of a record of it, you're going to feel that much more confident, I think, going into the room, sort of knowing. I mean, you don't talk to the same things, you know, you talk to Aunt Sandy about that you would necessarily talk to, you know, your grandmother about. You know, there are different kinds of different times in your life with different relationships about what you might share. And that's the same way going into a room. You like monologues, you don't like monologues.
Right.
You know, so keeping track of something like that. And I think especially when you've had a great connection with somebody. And we also have a question here, what about thank you notes? Do you think that they're appropriate after auditions? I know you mentioned a little bit about your client with postcards. How do you feel about thank you cards after auditions? I don't know if you get them or...
I think they're kind of cheesy.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah,
She said kind of cheesy.
when you're making, you know, when I'm auditioning a lot, it gets overwhelming. I love thank you notes after rap. I save them. I have boxes. I have boxes from like stars when they did their first film. No, I love that. I'm a sentimental fool. But for after an audition, there would just be so many. I mean, you know, you could drop a little note. It's nice, but I don't think it's necessary all the time. You thank me when we're done, you know? And if I can just say another thing about auditions, which is really important, guys. Okay, so when I audition you, whether it's self-tape or even, you know, in the room, I know, like I said, how it is for actors. So I'll say to you, okay, we'll be making our decision by May 20th, okay? Please don't call me May 21st or email me and say, oh, I guess I didn't get the part. And it happens. And it gets frustrating. And especially because I'm giving you the courtesy, and I'm going to tell you, or you're going to have your call back definitely by May 16th, you know? And I like to do that because I don't want to keep you stringing along, you know? But I just got a slew of them this week, and I'm like, oh, my God. Are you kidding? I can't even keep up with the emails. Now I got to answer this person. An agent or manager, it's fine. They'll say, give me feedback, Donna. I love giving feedback, you know? I'll give feedback, and I'll give feedback to an actor. But, you know, not when we're in the middle of casting. It gets a little overwhelming.
But I think also just saying thank you is a really
Yes.
important thing. And you don't have to write a note. And,
Right.
you know, like even when you're getting into the thick of it, and we're all really busy, and you just sort of there's nothing wrong with the nice thank you and just being kind. And I have clients that I've been with for over 10 years, and every single time we hang up the phone, whether it's a small thing or a really big long conversation, they're always like, thank you, and it really means a lot. For me, my clients, maybe at the end of the year, they'll write me a thank you with a Happy New Year or something. But I think just saying it and taking the minute to do that is better than. I mean, sometimes if something's like an out of the norm thing happens, there's nothing wrong with sending a thank you note. But in day-to-day business, I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah, because we have too many auditions, too many actors. Like I said, I love the rap thank yous. I love them. I kind of wait for them. I like the notes because they're so beautiful, and some of them are handwritten, and I save them. I'm a fool. But my thing is just walk out of my room happy. And that's enough for me. Thank you, I had a great time. And I could tell when you walk out of the room, and that's what I need. That's a thank you, definitely.
That's great.
You don't like thank you notes, I know.
No.
Okay, she's like,
Okay.
no. Do you love it?
Don't send Deborah a thank you note.
Not even after
No, just
film?
a human. Yeah, speaking, saying thank you. Like paper. And I'm not like crazy into like save the rainforest, even though I am. But I am. But I don't like extra paper. I mean, I've got 2 kids and a husband, and they all like bring paper. And then if there's more paper in the house, it's just like it adds to the paper. And like even my husband, his boss, wrote me a thank you note for something, and I was like, "That's so sweet. Can you throw that out?"
Oh no, I see.
And I mean, I feel bad in some ways, but it's just like it would have meant more to me if she had called me and said, "Oh, thank you," or I'm very much into like the human contact, and yeah, I think it's really nice when somebody like walks out of the room and they say, thank you so much, or makes eye contact with you and says thank you, or even like the last day on set, thank you so much, this was great. It's like that you feel it in your heart. When you read it on a piece of paper, it's just words on paper. For me.
No, you got a point there. And when you say those words, thank you, mean them. Because we can tell. Mean them. We could look in your eyes and, don't feel like you have to say thank you. And when you do, just mean them. Right?
Oh, definitely. I agree.
Don't put the acting role on and be the phony and, thank you. Mean it.
We have another question here, and this sort of sums up a lot of aspects for different people. How do you create a plan for your brand? Which media are most effective? YouTube, creating your own online campaign, creating a cause, etc. So how do you create and plan your brand? So I guess if we're talking, so this came out of just now as we've all been talking, and so how do you create a plan for it? I would say maybe how might someone start?
Website, social media, right?
Yeah, I go back to, your work, like what's important to you, or maybe look and see how how I think web series right now do such a great job with marketing. Bless you. They have their Indiegogo campaigns, and they have their Facebook campaigns, and they're on Twitter, and they're talking, and they're connecting all the dots, and they're giving us you could, if you wanted to follow like High Maintenance, for one, like the most unbelievable web series ever, which is now going to HBO. Huge. Like they have the minute you go on their website, you get a real feel for what that story is going to be like, and then all the people who are involved, or they have not even a bio, just a snippet of who they are, and it's done in a way that's just so homespun, really, and organic and real to who they are, and it just brings you into their world. So I think, and then you could look at another web series that could be a completely different personality, but I think those are the people that I look to see how people are putting their package together, basically. I don't really like the word package, but to kind of give an essence of who you are in the digital world. So you could maybe take a lead from them, but it's really about you, your work, your being. But other than that, I don't know.
Yeah, I know for myself, when I keep thinking of Stefano. You know, there's this one that go back to this one actor who was too much initially when I met him.
We're on
No,
tape.
but he was.
We're
There's
on
like
video right now.
anyway. No, but this is all good. No, and so when he started to become very real with me, and I could see
I was
what
telling her
real.
a lot that he was real. Remember, I was
I
in your
know
ear
you
going,
were.
"Give him
and
a
I was
chance.
like, no, he's not.
Give him a chance.
He's a con artist. Wait,
Give him a chance." No.
but I want him to play con artist. But anyway, I started to then look at like different things that he'd done, and I saw this like through line of who he was in these different shorts that he'd done. And they were only shorts, and they are. I mean, for like showcasing what an actor does. But there was a through line that I could see like who he was as a person that led me to what he was. And there is a brand there of sorts if you have to put like a thing like that, that label. I hate labels. No labels, no paper. But seriously, like, I can't put I can't say he's this, but it's like there's an essence. Like if you can identify what the essence is of who you are, and then, work around that. There's a lot of different things that work within that. But, back in like the 90s, people had these weird headshots where it would have like 9 different shots, and it'd be like, oh, in the top hat, oh, and with the corncob pipe, and like, oh, it's Santa Claus. And it's like, that's not, those are like personas, those are like caricatures. That's not like who you are as a person. And so it seems like the most important thing is to really, like you were saying, like, who are you as a person, and what, what are the little nuances that different things can showcase that you could put on a website. And websites are I did my website with Wix. Yeah. I mean, and it was free. But then I bought the domain for like $90 for the year. But still, I mean, the initial thing was free.
Right, no, it is. It's free. Like
And there's
Squarespace,
so many-
like $20 or something.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many tools at our disposal. We live in the best time right now because with this digital revolution, anything that you can conceive of, you can create, and for almost no money. So, you can go out and like get someone to work with you. Go shoot something in Central Park. Go shoot something downtown. Go shoot here. Go shoot there with your phone. Get it into iMovie. Almost everybody has iMovie or something similar. Or you can even edit in your phone and then put it together as a little reel inside your website. And there you have what is your brand or your pitch or whatever. I mean, you don't need, you were saying before, it doesn't cost a lot of money. It doesn't, these things, you need to be creative. I mean, the reason you're actors, the reason you're in the creative field is because you're creative people. And don't always look to other people to solve your problems. Solve them yourself. Because you can. You have the power. Or else you wouldn't be actors. You wouldn't have gotten this far if you didn't have that creative ability inside. And then to just play with it and enjoy it and realize, like, by doing that, you'll identify what your niche is.
And enjoy, it's a big word, if I might say. Even when, I know they say get work, get anything. That's not necessarily true. Take work that you're going to be proud of and you're going to be happy doing. I could tell. I've just sat through so many short films and other projects, and I could tell when an actor really does not want to be there in their performance. It does show. So, be true to yourself and take roles that are going to make you happy. I admire when an actor says to me, Donna, I'm going to pass on this. It really isn't for me. I don't get upset about that. I admire that, because not everything's for everybody, right? And it's going to show. If you're not there, or you're just doing it, for the money or get your, pension and health money paid, and you're just doing it for the money, it doesn't work that way. So, definitely take things that you're passionate about. And even on your website, be happy. Be happy. And same with an audition. Walk in a room like you're happy and you want to be there. Because that's the worst thing ever. I would get upset about, like, if you could tell somebody doesn't want to be there. Well, you know what? Then you shouldn't have came because you took her spot. Because I only see so many people. I'm very strict about that. So if you don't want to be there, I'd rather have you tell me and pass on the project. I am not going to, lose sleep over it or cry. I'll admire you for stepping up and being honest. But websites are big and reels are big. On the way here, we just almost cast somebody in the car. Because they're real. Went on my iPhone and I just sent it to my director and he sent it to the band in England or wherever. And right in the car. 5 minutes. So you got to have stuff like that. You got to be ready at any moment, you know? She called her guy, right? And what, 2 minutes later, boom, he sent it over.
Luck always happens to the prepared.
Yeah, oh, that's good.
It really
Oh,
does.
can I steal that and tweet that? No, that's going to be my new tagline. Luck always happens to the prepared.
Because I think that's another thing that happens in this business. I hear people saying, and then one day the phone will ring. Well, no, that doesn't happen like that. But so let's say the phone does ring, and a casting director or a director calls and says, I need your reel, I need your headshot. And if you don't have it, they're not going to wait. They're going to move on to the next. So, I always say that to the people that I work with, like all of that material always has to be constantly groomed, basically. You always want to update your pictures and all your production photos and your website and your resume and tweak it and your reel, add something to it, do something with it, even if you're just changing the order so it's fresh and it's new. So if I've seen it 6 months ago and I'm looking at it again, I'm hoping that there's something else on there, even if it's not like a big TV credit or something. It takes like a minute just to freshen it up. So.
And another thing that nobody's mentioned yet that we really should is IMDb. Like, it's really important to have your
big.
picture on IMDb. A lot of times, I'll meet somebody that emails me or Facebook messages me, and it's like, oh, and here's my reel and this and that, and here's my link on IMDb, and then I go to the link on IMDb, and there's no picture, and it's like, ooh, they must not be very serious. There's this message that's sent immediately. I don't know why, and there's even some like bigger actors who don't have pictures up, and it's like, whoa, they don't really take this very seriously, and their handlers are obviously not taking it seriously. Somebody should put a picture there. So, if you don't have a picture, get a picture up.
It's like your tools, your equipment. Like, how nurses have their stethoscopes and everything. I say actors need to have those certain tools. Be ready, to self-tape an audition in a moment's notice. Be ready if I call you, which happens a lot lately, and I might call an actor and say, I need a photo of you right now. And they'll be like, now? But I have no makeup on. No, my director wants it now. It has to be stamped right now, this time and this date. He wants to see what you look like right now at this moment. And it happens a lot. It really does. So be ready for that.
Wow, that would scare me.
I know, but that's what they do. He wants it now.
I'm glad you said that. I'm like, oh, I don't know if an actor called me and said, I have to take a picture right now. Oh, I'd be like,
For a part? Yeah, you got to take a picture right now. Take it on your selfie and send it. Well, that's what it is. That's all we ask for. And a lot of people do ask for that lately. It's been happening a lot. I had the girl say, but I'm at the gym. I'm like, it's okay. He wants the picture. It's got to be now. Otherwise, he moves on.
Wow.
Wants to see right now what you look like as a real person. Because remember that. You're real people. We don't want to see all the makeup and the glam and all that. The real.
on the flip side of that coin,
Okay, so
though,
tell me.
Yes.
because it's again knowing who you're getting in front of, right? So for the independent film, that's what's happening. You know what you just said about film and what the director wants and whatnot. And then conversely, if you're going into ABC for a one line, that doesn't mean you could just go in there without makeup and just do the one line, even if it's whatever it's for. ABC especially is makeup, and all the networks are. But that's an important thing to know. And sometimes it'll say, audition, all actors, camera ready, and that doesn't mean that you're ready. That means that you look like you just had hair and makeup done, which is a whole big thing. Like, especially in New York, where we're all running around all over the place, you could get all worked up, and then, by the time you get there, you have to refresh and, doll it up, and guys have it a little bit easier in that category, but, that's what that means. So know who you're getting in front of.
Always have your bag of tricks ready, right?
Always have your
That's
bag of
what I always say. No, it's true. It is, and definitely. When I usually alert the actor, to be camera ready, or maybe wear less makeup. It depends on the role and what I kind of guide you with your audition, because I want to support you, because if you come in looking good, I look good to my director. So we're all in it as a team. But definitely. But with Indie, we have a little more leeway, right?
And that's actually something that I when I first read some of the questions, when you sent us the email, I wanted to make sure that I brought this up. I'm so glad you said team.
Okay.
Because one of the things that's really crucial for myself is, over the years, building your team. Mm-hmm. You have a team. You have, the now I'll want to look at like who your clients are for the next film I'm doing. Do you know? Because because like here we've like connected, and it's like, okay, I feel comfortable with this woman. I like her. Okay, I want her part of the team. Yeah, it's the networking. Donna, absolutely my team. You know, and it's like, and now I'm interested in you. And then like a couple people I've looked at here, and I'm like, God, you look like this, and that's really interesting, and I'm intrigued now. And it's like, that's how you build the team. And the team is like, you know, the core people that you want to be around. It's like, you know, I know this great guy who loves to like, you know, shoot with his iPhone. Get him, like try to encourage him to start becoming a camera guy. You know, this one guy that I had, he was still in film school, and he shot one of my features on mini DV back in '99. And then he went on to like, you know, study more cinematography. And now he runs a post-production house in Tribeca, and that's where I'd get my post done for free. And it's like, you know, but that's my team. And so you need to build your team, and you know who it is that's going to be there supporting you. Who are the actors that you love to work with, that you've worked with before on this play or that, whatever. And maybe you guys get together and you brainstorm and you write something. But it's about teamwork, you know. It's like, there's this thing in creative visualization and, you know, manifesting your desires and everything, where you need to be where you want to be now. Like whatever you're going to feel when you get that golden ticket and you're like on TV, or you've got that amazing movie that's in 2,500 theaters, how does that feel? Well, what can make you feel that way right now? Maybe it's like, you know, getting together with 3 actors and like brainstorming about like this crazy thing that you could do that's like a 10-minute thing that you shoot on your iPhones. And if you have that feeling, that's going to draw you forward. That's going to draw you into the reality that you want to live. And it's inevitable, I think.
Wow, that is so beautiful and so powerful. Thank you, Deborah. We're going to have to wrap it up. I want to say thank you so much, each one of you. Wow, Donna, Deborah.
Thank you.
It has been a very insightful night, a very inspiring night, and I hope that everyone will find at least one action step to take out of tonight. I know there were so many that were given to us, and also really take into the idea of feeling what's appropriate for what situation, because I think that was a big part of tonight, about how you connect with people in a way that feels real to you and to them in the current situation. So that, I think that is such a powerful tool that we don't really hear about, but that is very evident in exactly what you're talking about today. So thank you all, and thank you all for being here too.
Thank you.